All right, everybody, how's it going? I wanted to talk about a few Pokemon fails that I've seen more recently. I saved these links just so I could talk about it with you today. So, this first one is someone who put a very expensive card in their skateboard when they were younger. So, if you're not familiar with skateboarding, you can customize and put this clear polish on top of your skateboard to kind of put whatever. You could see he has a photo of himself or a family member or something, but the sound that he uses for this is really interesting, and we'll get into the value of just how much he's missing out now. It's not quite 20,000, but let's watch the video.
No! Don't leave me here! My house!
So yeah, that card is a first edition Blaine's Arcanine, which in raw value today is worth $250, and as a PSA 10 is worth nearly 3,000. So I'm sure there's a little bit of regret with that, but it's just kind of one of those funny fails. A couple of comments here talking about how you treated a card from a kid's game the way it was meant to be. Don't worry about it. And honestly, that's the good way of looking at it. Sell it exactly like this. Some collector would love to mount that skateboard. To each their own. It goes way harder, it's cooler on the board, and well loved, traveled around the world, and all by your side. Honestly, in sentimental value, I would say that this is worth just as much, and it's even just funny to post about it. I mean, you get something out of it. Moving on to the next funny fail. I've seen a card like this at a card show. I wish I took a photo of it. This is a Reddit post that is not quite the same, but it was an ungraded Charizard, and the back of it was a first edition Charizard. It had no PSA labeling, so it was ungraded. But I went to a card show, and it was severely damaged. They said that it probably went through the washing machine a few times. It was loved by a kid. Even some of the print was ripped off the back, and it was face down at the card show in his display and just labeled like $100, or it was like 95 or something like really really low. I don't even know if it was a first edition version of the card, but I'm pretty sure it was. Again, I wish I took a photo, but everyone was asking like, oh, why is that one face down? What's the deal with that one? And it was so badly damaged, you can almost barely tell it was a Pokemon card. It was a first edition or something like that Charizard, which ungraded, which now that I think about it, it probably wasn't a first edition card because the first edition raw goes for 4,900. The PSA 10 version, of course, going for over $260,000. But maybe it was just a Charizard. Let's see. It could have been a base set Charizard like this. It was labeled for like $100, and everyone was just curious, like, what's the deal with it? What does it look like? I wish I could find a photo that could do it justice. It was so much worse than this, and I thought that was just kind of a funny fail, but also it's just, listen, the card is what, 20, almost 30 years old, so it's going to have damages. Some people just want to keep it as a binder copy or something to look at in their collection. It's not always that deep. So once again, we're going to go to the last fail here. Um, this is from Deep Pocket Monster, who ordered on eBay, supposedly. We're going to watch this one really, really quick.
To show you what happened so it doesn't happen to you too. Caught up in the hype, he purchased a first edition base set Charizard on Craigslist for $500 that when he got in hand, it was so apparent that this thing was an absolute fake. The seller had a convincing story. A mom's son moved out of the house, didn't want his cards anymore, and she was selling it to make some extra cash. Our friend thought, she probably doesn't know this is a very expensive card. But as you can see, this thing just isn't even close to being authentic. This is a proxy version of a card, a fake version. And some sellers disclose that fact. This one did not. Obviously, a scammer. A few lessons to be learned here. Number one, if the deal seems too good to be true, it probably is, especially for very expensive items because those attract the scammers. Number two, buy from trusted sources, whether they're people you know or even buyers in marketplaces like eBay with good feedback. On Craigslist, you never know who you're going to get. Plus, with eBay, and if you buy via PayPal with goods and services, your purchase is recorded and protected. And number three, don't just buy on hype because you're going to rush decisions and make dumb ones. A fan of the channel was scammed, and he wanted me to show you what happened.
So this could happen to anyone. This is less of a fail and more of a scam exposed video, which again, I've made quite a few of those. But Yeah, it's really hard to buy high quality cards off of eBay for that exact reason. Now, what you can do is if you buy through PSA certification on eBay, it gets sent to PSA for, well, certification before it gets sent over to you. And if something looks off, they just return it back to eBay. It's kind of a deal that they went hand in hand with to mutually benefit the customers and stop, scammers from being on the platform. Now, a lot of people will also list their cards occasionally as like toy or keychain or fan copy. And if you don't read closely enough, or it says read description, and the description says that at the very bottom of like 3,000 words, it's very easy to miss that and get scammed just like this guy did. But also, he said it's too good to be true. If you're getting a $500 uh, first edition Charizard for that low, I know it's easy to feel like you're hustling someone. The kid moved out of the house and all that. Story after story. Be careful what you buy. These are 3 Pokemon fails I just wanted to bring to your attention today. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you haven't already, and have yourself a damn good one.